our presence in the development of this country. And this is how we feel very sorry about the attitude. Fortunately, this chapter is being opened in Nagpur. I am sure Nagpur chapter people will meet Mr. Nitin Gadkari. He is a very reasonable person, very dashing person, and he will definitely solve the problem. And we at the national level will definitely get the due recognition. I always quote a story that for some good, very important job, in your case, they ask applications from very good structural engineers. So one of the structural engineers appeared for the interview. Say, this is a very, very important job, and we want a most responsible person for the job. The structural engineer said, sir, I am the most responsible person you will ever get for this job. The person asked, how do you say that? Because on all my previous work, whenever anything went wrong, everybody held me responsible for that. So this is the status of even contractor or engineers or architects. They hold us responsible for everything. But they don't recognize our presence in the national development. I am sure your Nagpur chapter will definitely do something and get the national recognition through Mr. Gadkari, and he is the right person. Whenever I meet him, I assure you, I will also talk to him in person about this issue. I once again thank you all and the association for giving me this opportunity. I am sure the Nagpur chapter will grow, and whatever you have in mind at the national level with so many associations coming together, I think it will pick up and it will be a very strong national body. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request Engineer Prashant Upasani to introduce our today's guest, Dr. Swarup.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to introduce today's chief guest, Dr. P. Ranjan Swarup, Director General CIDC. Born on 24th of November 1953 at Kanauj, UP, he has done his schooling from St. John's School, Agra. He has done his BTech from IIT Kanpur in 1975. He has done his PhD from Rajiv Gandhi Technical University, Bhopal, on evolving a workable model for assessing the business risk in construction operations. He was decorated with DSc by Assam Central University for his sterling constructions to develop scientific and technological applications. Served several prestigious domestic, international consultancy and construction companies for over 2 decades, acquiring vast experience in engineering designs, construction management, project exports, technology transfer, and regulatory issues. He joined Construction Industry Development Council in the year 1996 as the first director. CIDC was formed by the Planning Commission, Government of India, to reform the construction sector. He is presently working as Director General CIDC. As the first CEO of CIDC, he has been responsible for conceptualizing and implementing several good practices in construction industry. His special achievements at CIDC are realization of contract conditions for domestic bidding construction contracts and drawing up the text of model contract document by incorporating the rationalized conditions and getting the same approved by Government of India for implementation. Development of construction cost indices. He was responsible in publishing for 78 cities, including 6 metro cities in India. Human resource development in construction industry. Drawing up of national vocational qualification standards for 47 construction trades. Development of training models based on OLDS pedagogy, and establishing the trade training, testing, and certification program throughout the country in association with 3 open learning and distant education providing universities, establishing 13 institutes for implementing the training in association with the industry. Construction Equipment Bank, conceptualizing and establishing construction equipment banks to facilitate easy access of construction equipment for the operators of construction sector. Construction financings, integrated with Indian Bank Association to develop the lending norms for construction industries. RBI issued a notification on February 4, 2003, detailing guidelines for financing of infrastructure projects. Grading of construction entities, development of a comprehensive and reliable system for assessing performance potentials of all entities involved in the project, the contractor, the owner, the consultant, and the project itself. The system has been implemented and several construction entities have already been graded. Insurance and non-insurance risk mitigation products for construction industries. Development of insurance and non-insurance products which aim at mitigating or managing risks which are inherent to construction business. Recognition of construction sector as an industry. He is a recipient of Golden Peacock National Training Award 2007-8 for the initiative Holistic Human Resource Development for the marginalized segment of Indian society. He is a recipient of EPC World Awards 2012 for outstanding contribution in skill building in construction industry. He is served with various high-powered committees constituted by Government of India. Steering Committee on Construction for the 10th, 11th and 12th 5-year plan constituted by Planning Commission of India. As a convener, as a member of working groups on hydropower, surface transport and housing for development of 10th, 11th and 12th national plans. As a convener on review committee for contracts management systems by Ministry of Statistics, Planning and Program Implementation. As a member of UNCITRAL working groups. As a Secretary General designate of UNECE CIDC Center for Excellence for Public-Private Partnership Projects. Is responsible for establishing several institutions to bring about improvements in the functioning of construction industries such as National Academy of Construction Hyderabad, Chhattisgarh Nirman Academy Raipur, Construction Industry Arbitration Council, and Asian Construction and Concrete Institute. He is member of professional bodies like Fellow of Institution of Surveyors, Fellow of Institute of Engineers India, Fellow of Institution of Civil Engineers UK, Fellow of Architectural Society of India. He is a member on Board of Governors on many organizations. He is Senior Vice President, International Council of Consultants, Secretary General. He has served as Secretary General of Construction Industry Professional Training Council, Construction Industry Vocational Training Council, Indian Society of Trenchless Technology, Healthcare Infrastructure Development Center, SARC Construction Industry Med Chamber, Construction Industry Arbitration Council, Council for Application of Actuarial Science in Risk Management and Construction and Allied Industries. He is a Member Secretary, Engineer Council of India. This is our chief guest is. Here I present to you Dr. P. Ranjan Swarup to deliver his lecture on the professional engineers a perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, my engineer friends who are here this evening. I thank you, Mr. Sudhanva Shingare, for having given a long introduction of mine. He could have saved some time if he had said that I am a civil engineer, and that's about it all, because as a civil engineer you have to do plenty of things for that matter. And I must very, very profusely thank my elder brother and a very old friend and a philosopher and guide, Mr. P.R. Mundle, who happens to be an integral part of the construction fraternity, not only of this city, but also had been a guide to many others like us when I was cutting my teeth in Construction Industry Development Council I had always looked upon the kind of wise counsel which Mr. Mundle had been almost very liberal to give me, and in spite of his indifferent health, he is still with us here. But as I have always maintained, that you always need to have elders with you if we are talking to the family for that matter, and Mr. Mundle happens to be an elder to me, an elder to many of us here. So let us give a big hand to Mr. Mundle for being here. There is something special about Mr. Mundle. He has a tremendous sense of humor, and I am very fortunate to receive copies of his compilation of various jokes, which I keep on using while I am addressing many of my friends anywhere in the country or even outside. And the brain vita that he keeps on sending me, and that's a tradition that I get it every year. And it's almost like a New Year's greeting, or it's kind of a thing which comes to me and makes me very happy whenever I am in a moment of distress. And these moments are quite a few. When it comes to the condition of construction fraternity especially, then it gives me a lot of distress at times to look at the kind of things that are and the kind of travails that we pass through, and yet build the nation and the infrastructure and do wonderful things. But as Mr. Mundle very correctly mentioned, that there is little recognition that comes in. I must thank my younger sister, Meenal, who had been working so hard, and she had made it really possible, so let us give a big hand to her. She had been very, very patient with many queries that she was getting, and I am really proud to say that Nagpur has emerged as a true city of professional engineers in the first stroke itself. I am obliged to all of you for the faith and the trust that you have reposed in me and in Engineering Council of India for having joined it overwhelmingly as a professional engineer. I'll be telling you the background of the whole thing and also how exactly we came to this stage now and the actions that we have taken, why have we taken it, irrespective and in spite of the support that we got from the government. It's almost 23 years that I have been interacting with the government. The organization, the parent organization I represent, that is Construction Industry Development Council, is actually an interface organization between the industry and the government, and probably it is the only organization which has survived, thrived, and has done very well. And you could call it under a PPP mode, where the government joined hands with the industry to set up this organization. And the intent in 1996, when the organization was set up, was to ensure that the people who build the infrastructure of this nation, which is so essential, not only to kind of give a boost to the economy of the nation, but also to provide the employment to various, a huge number of young people in this country, and to kind of make them earn honest living, was basically facing substantial number of problems. Not that we are totally out of woods. With the passage of time, there are new types of problems that keep on coming, and CIDC now has been working for over 2 decades to sort out many problems. CIDC also happens to be one of the founding members of Engineering Council of India, like your association, that is Association of Consulting Civil Engineers. And the intent of creating ECI was that engineers as a whole, as a fraternity, which includes all the branches of engineering, are facing number of problems. And let me tell you the first problem that we face, that is of existence itself. Who are we as a professional? That's a very major question that keeps on emerging from time to time, and we keep on asking this to ourselves, and we keep on asking this to the government. And when Meenal asked me to speak about a topic, and she asked for the topic, then I said what it is to be a professional, and that too a professional engineer, and that's something that I will be talking to you. But let me give you a little bit of a background of how exactly the engineers bill has progressed with the government, which ECI had been pursuing together with 32 member associations who among themselves include the biggest mass of engineers anywhere in the world for that matter. Incidentally, some of us may be knowing about this. The fact of the matter is that with plethora of colleges and universities who are churning out the engineers, India has the distinction of creating almost 1.6 million engineers every year. 1.6 million engineers every year. It's a long journey, and the issue is rather debatable whether the new young engineers who are coming out of the institutions and colleges really are pursuing engineering as a profession, or they are doing many other things for that matter. And we all know that definitely this country does not require as many engineers to be called as engineers, because they don't practice as engineers. But people who sit under this roof are certainly the ones who have committed themselves to the profession of engineering. And this was the guiding thought that we decided that let ECI be constituted, and in 2002 this council came about, and the issue was that how do we get recognition as a professional? Why this recognition? Why to call ourselves professionals? I think the guiding factor was that in spite of the fact that we were doing the tough part of the work always, we were the ones. You want to say something? Water? Oh, I'll pick it up whenever I need, don't worry. So, the issue here was that